Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Michelle Holling-Brooks here from Unbridled Change, and you're listening to Soulful Practices Podcast. More beings are awakening to the call of their hearts and soul to live a life that is in alignment with their true self, launching themselves on a spiritual wellness journey for evolving their systems from being subconsciously survival-led to being consciously soul-led with all aspects of their life, with like true holistic health and wellness and being. That's the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And yes, we want to be in alignment too within our careers, our financial life, social life, and family life, and in recreation too. While the spiritual journey of becoming aligned with our true self throughout all facets of our life is absolutely amazing, it can also feel overwhelming, lonely, isolated, and leaving us not really know where to go next on our path of awakening. This podcast is dedicated to helping you along that journey. I've been on my spiritual and wellness journey for over 25 years now and been doing this full-time as a soul companion, guide, and coach with my clients since I started Unbridled Change in 2008. And one of the main questions I'm always consistently asked is, hey, Michelle, what type of spiritual or healing and wellness practices will best support me on my journey of aligning to my true self? This podcast is the answer to that. Each week, I will share with you a new episode that brings you into the behind the scenes of my own personal soulful healing practices, and I invite you to join me in them. Each week, I'm going to be sharing with you a new soulful practice that is based off of what I like to call different pocket teachers. These are short mindful quotes, a spiritual key concept or healing concept, or a short text from a spiritual and growth teacher and wisdom teaching. And they are designed to help serve as a guide for us, a companion to us throughout that week, to help you courageously connect with the soul-led choices that will best help serve you in making the choices that will bring you into more balance so that you can live, love, and lead your authentic life. Truly going from having that desire, the intention to have a soul-led life, to embodying and unbridling your beautiful soul-led life. Again, I'm your host, Michelle Holling-Brooks, and I'm so glad you found us. Let's dive into the soulful practices for this week.
Hey everyone, Michelle Holling-Brooks here, and I have picked a new quote to help build a daily healing practice around this week. Our quote, our mini teacher for the week is Eckart Tolle, a huge thought leader and spiritual leader in consciousness and evolution, right? And the quote that I've picked that was really calling to me this week to help set us up for these healing practices is, "The present moment is all you have." Just let that kind of roll around in there for a second. The present moment is all I have. Right here, right now, this is where I have the opportunity to make a choice. I can't do it in the past, and I really can't do it in the future. The only place I can influence is right now. What's that other one? The present moment is the gift to yourself, right? And so, whichever way it wants to work with you. So take a moment and feel into this quote, this beautiful little teacher. The present moment is all I have. And let's start with our 4-body scan, right? How does my body feel about inviting myself to engage more with the present moment? The body's like, hello, this is my playground. This is where I live. I live in the present moment. However, within me are all those other moments, right? Bessel van der Kolk says the body keeps the score. So within my body is the score of my life, my experiences, the different things, and out into the experience of others that might have gotten like shrapnel accidentally lodged in our system through our blood, through our DNA, through that lineage is also present within us. And out to other lives, other lifetimes, other ways of being, right? So there might be some aspects of you that are like, if I get in the present moment, I'm going to meet the body. How does it feel about that? So just check in And again, we come in with curiosity, understanding. We're not trying to coach our system into anything or direction. This first pass is about allowing it to give us some guidance and some insights and some curiosity about what's happening in our system. And then what emotions might be present. Maybe there's a yearning, like, oh, I don't want to be in the worry of the future or in stuck into the slogs of the stories of the past. I would love to just be in the present moment. Like, wow, could you imagine, mental being, if we can help ourselves say, what do I need right now? Ooh, that's a beautiful question that's already coming out of this little teacher, right? What would help me right now? What would bring me more balance right now? Right. And then really opening up now to that mental being since we started talking to it. Like, what's its feelings about it? What's its thoughts about it? What's its concerns? What's its confusions? What does it have a little question? I just got this image of this little bobblehead because that's my sign for these different parts of us, these beautiful protectors and managers within our system. Is like kind of a checkboard, and it's kind of looking at me and with a furrowed brow and like, well, what about this and what about that and what about that? And so if that's what we think we're going to meet in the present moment, like we're going to keep skipping along, right? And so how then can I bring a little bit more kindness instead of like a drill sergeant energy to this idea of being in the present moment, because it's all we have, right? Now, if it feels good to you, and if I'm moving too fast, feel free to just pause me and then unpause me. Right? What is in that heart space? Really ask for those different thoughts and fears and worries, concerns, confusions. Just step back a little, give you a little space, because we're trying to help our system realize it can resource itself within each other. So often, because we're everywhere but the present moment, our system isn't taught to resource itself, letting the body be a sacred messenger to the mind, and the mind passing the baton from up here, running down the stairs, getting through the throat chakra and into that heart space. And the heart says, hey, I got you. I can see things and sense things from a different perspective. I have access to this beautiful wise one self within. I have access to our wise one team. I can get out of the fray of the fears and the worries and the burdens, and I can kind of see from a different perspective. So let me help you. And so as we open to that heart center, just notice like how much you could run down that flight of stairs down in there. And did you get stuck somewhere? And if you did, no worries. We're just going to be aware of that. And that might be something to be aware of as you move throughout the week with this practice. Coming into that heart space, sometimes it helps to put a little hand over it. Breathe for a second. What is there? What is meeting you within that heart space? What would it like you to know about the present moment? How can that help you worry or tend to the worries, tend to the fears, tend to the anxiety, tend to the whatever it has about being in that present moment, right? And then to the soul. How would it like to help hold you this week as we walk with this beautiful teacher? The present moment is all we have. So for me, I can feel a beautiful intention coming forward. And I do ask for these intentions to hold those who are listening to, but you can definitely make them your own, shift them, change them, do whatever language feels authentic to you, right? And first part of the practice is we're going to set our intention, and then we're going to let our attention flow, and then we're going to be in the flow and engagement with whatever comes forward from the first two steps, right? So the intention I notice coming forward right now is I want to notice. I want my attention to put up its hand and say, whoop, Michelle, like a little stop sign. I'm in the horse world too, so like a half halt, right? Like, hey, check yourself, you're going too fast. And so I want my system to put up a little caution sign. Please help me see, sense, hear, know, feel when I am being pulled out of present time. That's my intention. I invite you to make it your own. So I set the intention to notice when I'm being pulled out of present time. And please guide my attention into awareness of moments when I might find myself lost in thoughts and of the future, what ifs, or planning for point A to point B, for sub plan for this, like I'm going out too far, right? Please help me find that. What's another way I get pulled out of the present moment? I go to the past, right? So please help me have awareness when I am revisiting past experiences, conversations for the 100th time, and I'm just churning. I'm stuck in a whirlpool around. Please help me find that. And then please help me realize when I'm circling, right? Maybe through my to-do lists, or I'm in perseverating thoughts. I'm moving in my mind on a track without moving into a choice and into movement, right? So these are the three things that were really coming forward to me. Again, I'll say them again. And please know we're going to make little graphics for this, so you can join us in our socials and get this graphic. So you'll have this real quick and easy. Please guide my attention into the awareness of the moments when I find myself lost in thoughts of the future what ifs, revisiting past conversations for the 100th time, circling in my system of to-do lists that are based in worry, and I'm not allowing myself to step into movement. Help me pause. Like, stop. Hey, whoa, we're out of present time. This is all we have. So then help me soften my grip on the different mental being parts of me, these protective parts of me that think it's better to keep me everywhere but here. Because remember, present time is the only place we have our choice, the biggest superpower that we have, our conscious choice. So help me pause, soften my grip on those thoughts, and then bring my attention back to the flow of what is in the present moment. What is happening right now? So help me ask that question. What would be helpful for me right now? And for many of us, this is the first time we're asking us this question, this directly, this openly, this willing to be in dialogue with our system. What would be helpful for me right now? Help me then listen to the answers that come forward from my system, from my body, from my mind, from my heart, from my soul. Help me listen and match my inner guidance with what comes forward. So if I get what would be helpful for right now is for me to get a glass of water and take a little sip, then I'm going to give me that gift as quickly as I can. I might not be able to do it right now, but maybe as soon as I'm done with this, that's what I'm going to do. So again, see, it's not a demand like you have to give me this right now or else. That's what we're trying to soften in our system. That's why we don't want to ask that question, right? We want to say, okay, how can I help be able to answer that question to the best of my ability? Either resourcing it within me. I have this ability to go over, pick up the water, take the little sip of water. Yes, I'm going to do that. And if for some reason I start to move and you feel your body go, oh, pause, pause. Like somewhere in me was resistance, right? Somewhere in me it didn't feel that reaching for that glass of water was going to be helpful or supportive or true, or maybe it's a issue with giving myself that gift of saying yes to self, right? So be curious about what comes forward. And this is the practice I'm committing to for this week, and I hope that you can join me in this commitment of working with this practice. The present moment is all we have. I ask for it to bring, my intention is to help me notice when I'm being pulled out of present time choice and interaction and into old thoughts, old tapes, fears of future, circling without movement and choice. And then help me pause when that happens. Help me turn towards my system with kindness. What do I need right now to be able to come back into the present moment? What does my system need? Then help me be able to courageously answer that question and respond to my system as best as I can, right? And I hope as you're working with this practice this week, just see what comes up, share like what present moments you were able to connect with this week that might have slightly passed you by, or where you notice like old habits of just, this is what I do. I skim through, I work real fast. I didn't even pause to see if that person had a new story with them. Like every time I see them, they're a new person. And do I allow my system to meet them and let them change and let them evolve and let them grow with me, right? If you're working with these healing practices in sacred circle with some friends or other beautiful spiritual soul companions, share. What are your thoughts? What are your worries? What's coming up with you throughout this week, right? And then at the end of the week, definitely circle back together and kind of have that exchange of what you noticed, what was available to you, what gifts, because the gifts that come when we're in that present moment are available to you, and share that with you. If you want to share it with me as I'm walking through this week, definitely join me over in my beautiful different social media areas on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, right here in the YouTube channel. And I'd love to be in dialogue and help celebrate those ahas and those awarenesses with you as you move throughout this week. Again, Michelle Holling Brooks with Unbridled Change, offering light, love, and joy. Bye.
Thank you again for joining me in this episode of Soulful Practices. I'm honored to be a guide for you on your spiritual and wellness journey. Your commitment to becoming soul-led within your life is a gift to both yourself and to every being. Together, as we become more aligned with our true self, we truly do create those ripples of light, of love, of joy that goes out to all beings and empowers us all. So please share what parts of this practice spoke to you. Share with us your ahas or how this practice is working with you throughout the week as you go throughout your daily life. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so that you can stay up to date with the next soulful practice and pocket teacher that wants to help you create that courageous connection to your soul-led life. If you feel called to share this podcast with your friends and family or to write a review, please do so, because it will help increase that beautiful circle of soul-led companions throughout this world. Together, we can create a beautiful, soulful conversation, connections with others, and help each other on our journey. Like Ram Dass says, we are all just walking each other home. Again, this is your host, Michelle Holling Brooks. Until we meet again in the next Soulful Practice episode, offering you a blessing of light, of love, of joy on your journey.